Hello, everyone. This is greetings from me, Rachel Goodwin, in Denmark, and
hello, everyone. I'm Jamie, and blessings and welcome to everyone from New Jersey in the United States.
And today is May the. Oh no, it's the 1st of
June 1st.
I'm just getting used to it being May, and now it's all over.
That happened really fast.
Yes, it did. Wow.
It really did.
Here we are.
Yes, here we are. I'm going to check really quickly and just make sure we're streaming here on Facebook so I can pull up the comments for us so we can see who's here with us today.
Yeah. Oh, everyone.
Ooh, turn that down.
I'm just gonna do the same as well.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome everyone. I know there's a little bit of a delay too. And one thing that I want to mention too, because it's when I catch back the replay once in a while when I'm going through comments. And I did notice that on the replay, for whatever reason, it appears much more overlapping or delayed than it is in actual live time. So I just want people to know that when you're watching back on the replay, we are not deliberately being rude, talking over each other. Sometimes just the way it syncs after replay, it delays us or speeds up what we actually in real time. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah, do you know, I have noticed that, but I hadn't actually worked out that was happening because I listen back to write down, because I put it as a podcast, and I listen back to catch the topics. Mm-hmm. And so I'll listen for a bit and then click forward and listen for a bit. And I have noticed us doing that. And I just thought that's what we were doing.
No, I'm like, boy, I sound really rude cutting her off. And really, no, that's not what we're doing. For some, it's fine live. But when the replay gets posted, for some reason, I don't know if it's, I think I noticed this on Magickal Me sometimes with my lives, that even my lips will be not synced to my words, and then all of a sudden it'll speed up, and then suddenly it's fixed itself. So it's very strange, but I just wanted to point that out because it happens a lot. I'm like, we're not being rude talking over each other.
I think the Facebook lives are worse, actually. I think the buffering on it, because the other week I couldn't sign in to my Get Vocal account that I stream on, so I did it on Facebook Live. And I know our internet was playing up, but it was like there were these long pauses, and then I'd be going. I was thinking, oh.
Yeah, especially with the differences, probably having to deal with two different people being pulled in on a conversation. Maybe I have no idea.
Oh no, this is me when I was doing it on my own. This is when
by yourself.
I was doing the one, and I couldn't. I just had to give up on Get Vocal, and I just did a Facebook stream, and it was the buffering was quite. But I mean, our internet was playing up that day, but that plus Facebook Live just sort of made for an interesting recording.
Oh my goodness! I'll tell you, technology. You would think that Mercury is in retrograde with how technology has been behaving.
Wow. I mean, I'm still in the dark ages. I'm still amazed that it works at all. I'm still like, wow, isn't that amazing?
Look at what I did.
I remember the days where you had to plug into the what was it? The phone, you could hear it dialing. You could hear it going. Blah, 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 blah. I remember that.
Dial up. Oh, that's funny. Just sharing it too to let people know that we're live right now.
I'm becoming that older generation now. Benji wouldn't know what I meant if I told him, and he'd be confused.
Oh, my kids too. They'd be like, "What? What are you talking about, Mom?" Showing our age. Oh, that's funny though. Okay, I've shared it. Here we go. All right, so now everybody can see that we're live, and I do see that Karen and Flo are watching with us. Welcome. Anyone else that's tuning in, I do apologize if I didn't say hello to you. Sometimes it's hard for us to see unless you actually comment or something. But welcome, everybody.
I can see Deborah saying hello. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Deborah. I cannot see Deborah. which
No,
is interesting.
she's on my profile.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I always got to go back and check both to see if there's any comments that we missed. Yeah.
So I've been to the beach today.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, I know. It was like public holiday here again in Denmark. There's another one on Friday, and I think that's maybe the last one till, I don't know, Christmas, hopefully. I know other people are like, oh, public holidays, isn't it wonderful? But it's really difficult to keep trying to cope with 3-day weeks because our son's home from school and it just makes it a bit. But it was beautiful weather today.
Yeah.
And the fjord seems to have managed to warm up since the last time I was there 2 weeks ago, and I actually went for a bit of a swim.
Nice. Nice. You'll have to share some photos of the fjord on the Cosmic Heart so everybody can have a visual of this magical spring that you're in.
Yeah, I
will.
I have got some nice pictures because I don't take pictures when I go because I don't take my phone. I try to take as little with me as possible so that, you know, I don't lose it, drop it in the water or it gets stolen. I mean, there's no one around anyway when I go in the morning, but it is lovely. It's really picturesque. And every time I go, oh, what a blessing.
That does sound like a magical blessing. I wish I had a very lovely, peaceful body of water right next to me. I have the river. The river is not far from me, but no, it's a little it's a little it's a little unpredictable.
People like wild water swimming and other people don't. Although it was a bit like wild water swimming at the fjord this morning because there was a lot of jellyfish in the water.
Wow.
Yeah. Stinging ones or anything, but it's still a bit weird. They just keep going, oh, don't touch me. Oh, don't touch me.
It's like suction cups. Oh, hi Ingrid. Hi Marie. Welcome.
I've dropped something on the floor. I want to pick it up. Oh, sorry about this.
Go ahead. So everyone, how have you been this weekend? How has your weekend been? If you'd like to share with us. Rachel and I were just talking about there being some pretty intense, heavy energies over the weekend, and curious to hear how everyone felt and maybe how you dealt with it, how you managed. I think that's something that's going to be very relevant this month, talking about how we manage with energy. Yeah.
And I think this is particularly in the States, isn't it, where all sorts of things are happening. And
yeah. And I mean, energetically, there is like, you know, a lot going on. I don't really want to go into too much of it. Actually, later this evening, I will be live on Magickal Me about 7 p.m. Eastern time for anybody who wants to check it out. I do an energy forecast, and I talk a little bit more about the astrological occurrences going on. I'll be talking about what's going on later tonight if you want to tune into that. So I don't want to do too much here, but what I will say is on top of everything going on right now with people and how they're feeling, we talked a little bit about the Schumann Resonance before, Rachel, I don't know if you remember. It's spiked again. It's really high. And the solar flares are supposed to be the most intense they've been in like 3 years or something. So that's having a bit of an impact on us as well.
I looked that up the last time we spoke about it, and I wrote something down that was really interesting, and I've completely forgotten it. But I do remember that the volcanic activity is very part of that Schumann's resonance, and it, you know, can actually be a way of predicting volcanic activity as well. So it's like the earth herself is like speaking.
Yes. Yeah. It kind of tends to go hand in hand, you know, when you notice these things happening in humanity. I was actually talking to a friend earlier today, and you know, you notice that when humanity goes through these massive purges of emotions, feelings, think about what's going on right now in the States, Mother Earth kind of absorbs all of that, you know, because we're connected and people don't realize that. And I don't mean just Mother Earth, I mean everything within Mother Earth, her plants, her animals, her beings, you know, they absorb that. And and that's great because it goes somewhere, but then where does she put it? And she has to release it. So oftentimes that does come up in a way that could be with some earth changes going on, you know, like, and that's not the greatest thing to have happen or look forward to, but you know, I think we can probably start to understand how everything is linked and connected, and our actions have consequences, you know.
Yeah. And it's like you say that about that connection between the earth and ourselves. We are walking about in physical bodies that are literally made out of the earth. So, you know, there is no separation between us. And me and Jamie were just having a bit of a chat before we came on, going, "Hi, how are you?" And I was talking to Jamie, and you know, as most people are aware of, there's a lot of stuff happening in the United States at the moment, and I can feel that. I could feel that kind of, there was a sort of an energy of like chaos and disruption, and you know, the violet flame is a good one for this, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the States right now, and I love that you just mentioned that when you said there is no separation. I think that's one thing that some of these situations that are occurring within, you know, within humanity, is these situations do unfortunately get triggered to present us with the opportunity to learn and grow. And I think the one thing that this situation might be teaching us, that people are really calling out to be heard, is that we are one. Whether they realize they're partaking in that, they are. There is no separation, race, color, religion, none of that. We need to remember that we are all one. And you know, all of this putting each other into boxes and things, it's about unity and oneness, and that's where we're.
Yeah, exactly. And if we think about like an oversoul of humanity, so like on an individual level, we have a soul, and that soul stays throughout all of our incarnations, then the whole of humanity has one big oversoul, and all of our bits of soul come from that. So we're actually part of one big organism. And then of course, you know, go back to we're part of God. But if you think about that oversoul thing, so if something's happening to our, you know, brethren in the States, it's happening to us as well.
That's right.
Because you know, it's happening vice versa.
That's right.
You know, wherever things are happening in the world, it is happening to all of us.
That's right. We are one race, the human race. And that is, you know, that's what we are. And it's just so much I do feel like everything, there is no such thing as coincidences. We all know this. There's no such thing as just occurrences happening. Everything is divinely timed and synchronistic. And I do feel like there's lessons to learn in everything that we can, if we disconnect from the chaos that's happening, if we can disconnect from the engaging in the lower vibrational energy of situations and jump on that higher octave, we can see that this is really orchestrating a union for us all to love one another, come together. And in lieu of everything that's going on, I mean, I've seen some beautiful things going on. There has been some unity, police officers taking knees, joining in with protesters too, standing with them. There's some beautiful things that are happening too.
Yeah. And it is, I think, I've never been very good at understanding that sort of expression, oh, you've got to have faith. That doesn't kind of work for me. But what like Sarah has taught me, and she's sort of like been my main spiritual teacher, I guess. And that is that whatever is happening, there's a blessing in it, and it's designed, the divine has designed it for your highest learning, like what you're saying, and you know, enlightenment, ascension, whatever you want to call it. And that I can work with. I can sort of understand that. But I pulled two cards. That's what I just had to go and pick up off the floor because I dropped it. And the first one was this one,
Nothing has gone wrong. Look at that. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
and it says nothing has gone wrong, and it's showing the yin and the yang, you know, the light and the dark. And then the other card I pulled, so these are ones that I've sort of made them myself.
I love that
But
you
they
did
are
that.
yeah, they're ones that I tried to buy and they wouldn't send them to Denmark. So I bought the Kindle book and then I made my own little set. But it says shine your light of compassion, and it's wise action, space for grace, Kuan Yin, Mary Magdalene, and collective healing. And I mean, I just pulled that because it does feel very heavy, like what's happening, and it's like, whoa, can we have some help here? And I think that's it. We just got to keep reaching up into the ethers and like pulling down help, or going down to the earth and pulling up help, or going to the side from us where it goes, which way direction you want to go. Just like pull it in.
Yeah, there was someone over the weekend, some political conversations came up, and I do not engage in political conversations or religious. I just stay away from those. And I was asked at one point in time what I thought about everything. And I said, you know, honestly, I feel like sometimes the best route is to not engage, is to not be involved in that regard, because I feel like we do have a choice. It's not turning a blind eye, but I feel like there are some of us that are here working, doing the spiritual work that we're doing, helping to be the light bearers, because every one of us are spiritual, every single one of us. But some of us are holding the light to show a little bit of the way. And I don't think we're meant to get involved in those things. I think we're meant to help guide each other on. We're meant to help show the other level and layer of the situation. Like you said, the blessing. And over the weekend, I did a workshop in my feminine temple, and I taught the rays of creation. And we were helping to understand how every ray of creation also has a polarity. There is the pure aspect of it, and then there is the corrupt version of that ray, and how many of us come in with the energy of the corrupt version so that we can work towards the purest energy of it. It's kind of like that in my mind. That's how I see it. It's like there's these situations that happen, like your card just said, nothing has gone wrong. It's all part of a plan. It comes in on this energy so that we can rise up to see the higher layer of it, the big picture of it. And when you see that yin yang, it's showing you everything is being brought into balance right now. We've been out of balance for a very long time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And there is, you know, I think one thing I have to remember is that, you know, we can't do it all, and each generation gets to do their bit, because I feel like, you know, when I can see it and I feel like I want to take it all on, and then I just get really, really exhausted. And I see other people doing the same, and I go back to, I remember, you just do the next step in front of you. You just do the next step in front of you. You just do the next step in front of you. You don't have to do the next 10 miles. You know, that's why we have children.
Yeah.
we do what we can, and then we pass it on, because it's not all going to get sorted out like in our lifetime, and it's not supposed to either. We weren't supposed to come here and save the whole world. We were supposed to come here and do our bit, do our piece of the puzzle that we've been given. Yeah, it does that does take a lot of anchoring into the divine plan to really be able to trust that and have faith.
And that's a really difficult lesson for humanity, for everyone. I mean, myself included. You know, it's very difficult to just trust and surrender that everything is part of a bigger plan.
Yeah.
So I did ask how the weekend was for some people, and Ingrid actually commented she felt somewhat drained yesterday, and Saturday she couldn't keep still, a very uneasy sensation sitting still, which is interesting, because that's what this isolation period has been kind of serving, to teach us how to just be still. because that's how true divine, our own innate divine voice can really be heard. That's when we really receive a lot of inspiration about our own personal journey. And in the process of just being still, we're actually creating or being inspired to create in that process. So I understand it being very difficult, especially with all of this energy that's happening right now. That's not an easy thing.
Yeah. And but I really related to what you were saying, Jamie, just before we came on live, and you were saying about how you need to be outside so much, because I don't think I've ever been so aware of like the difference before and after, like me sitting around working at home and then going, right, I've got to go outside now and do some stuff. And the difference, like going out and it's just like bing,
Yeah.
you know, I'm on this, like, especially when the sun's out, you know, and just like tuning into these like cosmic energies, and just the difference, like in the me before and the me after. Like if I could take an energy picture of the me before and the me after, I know it would be, I know it would be radical. And like going to the fjord, you know, I've taken to doing that once a week now if I can, and I've managed that every week but one. So since we started the show, and oh my god, it is just I'm so lifted. I have turned into a bit of a, I was trying to make my husband go in the water today, and he's like, no, it's okay, I don't need to. I was like, oh, but you always got, and he was getting quite narky with me in the end. I had to sort of like, I had to stop.
And you know, and you're so right. You know, that is right. You know, we were talking about that. I spent almost the entire weekend outside. I've been spending a fortune on flowers because I just need to be around their energy. I just need them to be with me all the time. And Ingrid, my dear, I totally can relate to what you said. And so I do feel like if it at all possible, I know not everybody has that opportunity, but if at all possible, maybe you could get outside when you start to feel that energy and just ground it, you know, just envision yourself growing tree roots out of the base of your spine, the soles of your feet, and just push that extra energy out into Mother Earth, because Mother Earth will automatically transmute that. But just connecting and just trying to, like, you know, even if you could take like your lap, I mean, I know it's not a great idea to take electronics out with you when you're trying to be at peace, but if you can work outside, because I know some people are like, well, I gotta work, you know, but if you take the work with you outside, it definitely helps you to calm and stabilize your energy a bit.
I mean, I can do that like when I'm creating something, like if I'm writing a workshop or writing a meditation or something like that, because I can take a paper and pen with me, and it's very inspirational. It's actually easier to do it when I'm sitting outside, but then everything else, like the calls I need to make and the computer work, I can't see the screen.
Yeah.
So I have to be inside. It's a bit of a problem we all have, isn't it?
Yeah, but this that's the best thing that I can say with everything that's going on for everybody right now. I know we all feel pulled. We feel passionate. We feel wounded. We're grieving. We're upset. Our heart hurts for our brothers and sisters. Our hearts hurt for, you know, everyone and everything that's going on all sides, you know. And the best thing that I can say to everyone is to not engage. You can stand together without engaging in the lower vibrational behaviors. And the best thing that we can do together, I'm actually going to talk about this in a little while, if we can work it in. I have a mudra that we can do together to help work together. This is one thing that you can do that takes hardly any time at all. But the best thing you can do is just positive intention. And I don't want to be that person that's all about like, only thing that you could do is be positive. That's not who I am. I am also about working with the shadows and feeling those feelings that you have. It's okay if you have them. But if we can take those and try to transmute them to bring out that positive, sending those positive thoughts of healing and unity and love, and kind of just envision yourselves giving humanity a nice big hug and saying, I see you, I hear you. I think that would do wonders.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have time to work that in, Jamie, because it sounds wonderful. So I just want to say hello to Belinda and Annette Vance, who was our winner of our competition.
Yes, congratulations, Annette. Yeah.
Annette won 2 months free subscription to our new group, evolving into the Cosmic Heart group that well, it's a month old now, isn't it? We should be having a birthday for it.
Have a little Facebook party.
Yeah, I've seen these Facebook parties. I don't know what they are. What are they? People have a watch party.
Yeah,
what does that
I think
mean?
that means that they can just, like right now with our live, they could share our live and start it. It's like you click on have a watch party, and that means that you can basically invite a bunch of people to join in and watch with you. So you're watching together. But Facebook also started something new that I have no idea how to use yet. In your private groups or public groups, you could create these little messenger rooms and have it's almost like Zoom video chatting, but it's now in your groups, and you can create individual rooms in your group. It's interesting.
So can everybody be on the video at the same time?
I think so.
Oh, now that's like, you could have a little birthday party and say to everyone, have a little birthday party. Happy birthday or something. Oh, we have to try that, Jamie. That sounds fun.
Yeah, we give it a try. I was gonna be like, what are you doing? Can you see us?
I can sing it in Danish.
There you go.
In front of me, I can only remember the first 3 lines and the last.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. Yeah. So speaking of our group, we are actually going to begin to make it a subscription base now, monthly. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that would work, or?
Yeah. What I did was I set up a Patreon page. So there's a site called Patreon, Patreon, and a lot of creators of different types set up a page there because it's a way for people to support them in their work. And the way I've done it is so that because you go on there and then you get a benefit, and so you go on there and you sign up for it, and the benefit that you get is being in our Facebook group, basically, because it's not possible to sort of pay directly through Facebook. They haven't set that up as yet. So, I've done this as sort of a way around it. And we'll probably have something on Patreon where you can see past posts, the really good stuff that we don't want to lose, because things get lost, don't they? It's quite hard to sort of follow things. So that would be a nice way to make sure that, because there's some really, we've only been there a month, some really nice things we've done in the group already.
Yeah, we've been, for those of you who don't know about our private group, it is called Evolving into the Cosmic Heart group. You can, I believe you can search it, and you should be able to find it if you want to join.
Yeah, you can.
But what we have been doing there, what we're utilizing this group for, is really creating a community working together to assist in understanding these energies, these what we call ascension energies that are really coming into the planet right now. Both Rachel and myself do channel. Rachel specifically channels Ascended Master Sarah. I seem to channel just divine messages that come through exactly when they are most needed. And last month, I did pull forth a message from Jesus, or Yeshua, and the dolphins, and it did give us a bit of an outlook for what we can expect energetically. It was that higher octave looking back now. It was a higher octave message to let us know what's going on a bigger picture, and we looking back can kind of see how what's going on and what has occurred in May is really there's a higher greater reason for this is all playing out, what is occurring. And the dolphins was wonderful. I actually channeled a symbol that came forward to teach us how to use it energetically for empowerment, for healing, to protect our own energy fields. Rachel has been doing these lovely Divine Mother Sophia emanations and posting them in the group as well. And at the end of every month, we have been doing, or closer to the end of the month, we come together to divinely, with a divinely inspired channeling that comes, it's called a transmission. That's the word that we're using. And so I myself will channel a light language or light code transmission that is most needed at the time. And then Rachel will come in and we kind of trigger one another. And she will go into either like a mantra song or something else that she's inspired to do to really anchor those energies down into earth. And we kind of keep going back and forth with that. And people have experienced, we did it for the first time last month together, and people really talked about how they felt this actual expansion happening within their heart centers. And I think it was even third eye, or I'm sorry, throat chakra. It was, right? Throat chakra.
Yeah.
And then at the end of every month for 2 days, we will open it to allow our members to share something that's special to them that they have, whether it be a channeled message they received, whether it be something that they do energetically, or maybe that you work with some sort of a healing tool you'd like to share. So it's always going to be, we're constantly putting stuff in. It's like a constant developmental process together. So
Yeah. And this came about because it felt like when we started doing this show every week, it felt like we were in a process of like going beyond our comfort zones and expanding out onto the next thing. And I was like, wow, I think people who are coming to listen to this, they're also going through this. This is something that's happening. Because so I mean, going back to that Syvhøje emanation, one of them I did in my dressing gown because I had to be through it very early in the morning, and I had to be really quick before Thomas got back from the school run. And I have migrated now into my summer dressing gown, which is also I don't know if that will come out for a showing in future, but I don't know why, but I was looking on Facebook and like it will say at the top, you know, it will try and get you to boost a post and like spend your money on it, but it was in Spanish. Perhaps because it said Sophia and it called it Sophia Emanatio.
Well,
or
that
something.
sounds fancy.
Somewhere. It's so funny. I've done a screenshot of it somewhere because it really sounded like a thing.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, we got to call it that. That's so hilarious. And, yeah, I don't know whether Sophia will come through this month because there's a lot of different goddesses that I've connected with over the years. But yeah, so what I was going to say about that sort of expanding out thing, like I've never done these transmissions in this way before, but it's just come about so naturally, hasn't it, Jamie? And they're just so powerful when we work together. And then this weekend I was working on, because I'm training in like Norse shamanism as a Seidr witch, and I've set up a Seidr witch blog, and I did a couple of posts for it, and then I felt I need to do some channeling, and it's happened a couple of times before, but I haven't been quite sure what's happening. And a bit like, oh, this is happening, but is it really? I don't know. And it's what did they call themselves? The Elders of the Star Council. Yeah, and I did this channeling about going to like these. We have these Grauhoi here, these like burial mounds. How they built them. They were consciously like, one of the things they did was go to them to be nearer to the stars at night, to be out and be in the stars. And the channeling was saying, I can't remember why I've posted it yet, but the channeling was saying like, you really lost the art of being outside in the night sky, because if you go out and it's like you're in a cloak of the night sky. And it's saying like, you don't have to know about the stars or anything, just be connecting to them and looking at them and going, wow, isn't that great? And you will be like soaking up like this cosmic wisdom that will make your day-to-day life like easier. So like all this stuff we're going through with the coronavirus and everything, if we could spend some time like being out in the night sky, it would actually like bring it down a few levels. And I was like,
wow.
Never done that. I've always wanted to do that, but I've never done it, and it is a bit challenging. No, especially this time of year in Scandinavia, because it's not getting properly dark till about 11 o'clock at night now, which is like 2 hours after I'm in bed normally. So but you know, but it really made me think, and I was thinking, right, I'm going to go and find a friend to come with me to go and sit on Syvhøje with me, which is a really nice, like, burial mat. I mean, I don't find these places gruesome.
No.
At all. It's not, because the energies are amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That's just fascinating. So are you going to share that message?
Yeah, I might have done it already. I know I didn't get to, there was a third one. No, I think I have already. So if you look on my website, which is rachelgoodwin.dk, because I'm in Denmark, there's a page that says Seidr, which is Seidr, but this is Old Norse, and that's how they said it. They said it's Seidr. And then if you go down on that, there's a blog which says the Seidr Witch Apprentice.
Yeah.
Because that's me.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the third one I was going to do is I did a channeling maybe a year ago, and it was the first one I did from them. And then I just sort of lost it on Facebook and forgot about it. But it seems to, it's really interesting. It really fits with the Seidr work. The Old Norse, they were really astronomically minded. Yeah, our teacher Imelda Anchorage, she loves to go on about all of that, and so far I haven't really taken that much notice of it because I was so busy learning the runes and all these other things, and it was like, oh, I don't think I can listen to any more things to learn about. And then suddenly, you know, this energy is coming, and I'm going, oh wow, and they just really marry together. It's really,
it reminds me, as you're talking, I'm like having flashbacks of when I go on my annual trips to England and Glastonbury, and part of that journey that we do is actually visiting the stone circle in Avebury. And it is a very galactic feel there. I've been to both Stonehenge and Avebury, and Avebury is much different. Stonehenge feels much earthier to me. It feels very, very, I could feel like the druid energy there, very elemental almost. But when I go to Avebury, it feels very cosmic and galactic. And there is a stone, and each of these stones, like, they have names, and there's like a whole map of like how you actually are meant to like walk. Because I mean, Avebury makes Stonehenge is much more visually like stunning because it's all clustered together. But Avebury is probably one of the largest Stonehenges in England, I think. I'm not sure if it's in the whole UK, but I know in England. Is it?
I think it's the largest one I know. I know Karnak in France is, I don't know if that's the right way to say it actually, but I've never been there, and I'd love to go there. But that's quite big. But Avebury, I mean, it's huge. It covers a really large area, and even
I think over 100 stones or something like that. And they all have like
avenue going up to it. I mean, when I first went there, I remember going around going, oh, the energies are a bit wrong. Oh God, it's a bit broken. Ooh. And then I went back like a few years later, and then a few years later, and a few years later, and then it was like, wow, it's so much better now. People, so many light workers or whatever. I don't know what words. I know not everybody, but you know, people who are doing stuff with the stones. So many people have gone there and done stuff, and it's really worked. It's really done stuff. And I
have a very interesting theory about that, because you're right. The energy there can be, for somebody who is energy sensitive, it can be off-putting. I have noticed some irritation happens on the days that we go to Avebury, for not just me, my entire group. And one thing that I have a theory, because there is a certain way to actually walk through those stones. I mean, these were designed, you have to understand, stones are conductors of energy, and these were aligned in specific pathways, is all I can say. I feel like they're designed to be walked certain ways, and I feel like if you are walking them in a way that's just like, kind of pick this spot and this is where I started, because it's so big, and without really fully understanding its layout, you can just kind of go in at certain points. I do feel like it's almost like you might be unwinding something, which is creating maybe some release that can come up within you. I do know that there were sacrifices and things and whatnot like that there as well. So that also could be what gets picked up. But I have this theory and I want to put it to use. I want to try walking it the right way the next time I go. So, but what I was saying was that there's so many, there's like a big stone slab at one point in the Stonehenge, and it's designed for you to, it's like kind of the way it is cut out is like they just laid on this and just kind of, it's thought anyway, and just observed the stars. That's what I was having flashbacks to.
Totally. Yeah. I've never quite worked out Stonehenge, actually. I did manage to go there years ago when like it was just a national heritage site. National heritage, English heritage. It wasn't all like blocked off. You could just walk around there.
I wish it was still that way.
Avebury. Yeah, it's sort of turned into a whole thing now. And yeah, what was I going to say? No, I think the thing with Avebury, it's more like because of the way I work with earth energies, when I go to these old sites, I'm seeing them more like, I don't know, a computer person would look at a motherboard or something. I can see where they're working and where they're broken. And Avebury was a lot more broken than it is now. It's functioning a lot better. And, you know, they're the only places where I've seen energy lines like functioning properly is out in Hawaii. Everywhere else, it's, you know, they're in trouble because of, you know, things need fixing and But yeah, it's interesting where I live here in Roskilde. There's a new one opening up, and that is really interesting. Like working with it bit by bit and doing stuff with other people and seeing that come to life. But yeah, I mean, around Avebury you get the most amazing crop circles. Have you seen it?
There have not been any that we saw when we were there, but I think that one maybe popped up like right after we left the 1 year. But I see all of, they have their new catalogs, new crop circle like catalogs out every year. They put them out, I think, which is pretty cool.
Because you can get the energy of looking at it, can't you? I mean, I was, you know, I might have mentioned this before, but you know, I'm quite a skeptical person left to myself, and I didn't believe in crop circles. And we went there. We went to a crop circle on the first priestess year that I did, and I went there with a group of priests and priestesses. And you know, by this time I'd become quite open and sensitive to energy. And we went in this field, and I was pregnant at the time, and I sat down in this energy, and I was just like, my God, this is so galactic. My God, this is real. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there are some that are obviously, you know, a hoax. But who's to say that there aren't human vessels serving on the ground side, assisting the galactic design that needs to occur? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. There isn't anything wrong with that.
Yeah, but the main problem for me with that theory is that why does it mainly happen in the southwest of England? And they're so beautiful and perfect. It's like, you know, if it's so easy to do it, why isn't it happening in France and Germany and Denmark? And, you know, I don't know about the States, whether you get any there, but why is it? And it's all around these ancient sites, and they hold all these amazing energies, and just seems a bit too synchronicitous to me, because if it was that easy.
No, I don't think it is easy, but I do know there are people who actually do organize these things. Not all of them. There's actually groups. There are actually groups that are very open about it. They do organize them. It's not easy. It is something that needs to be completely planned out. But my point is the inspiration that's coming from it. It's not that they're doing it as a ruse. Is a reason, because I think this it's almost like sacred geometrical coding that's being put down, you know, but those areas that you're talking about that are just phenomenons that are happening, I believe that as well. And it's the energy.
But I wasn't thinking so much about what you were saying. I was more to the naysayers who say, oh, well, you know, you can make those, and you sort of think, well, why aren't they then? You know, if it's such such an amazing thing. People want to spend all night up doing these concerts. Why aren't they doing them all over the world? You know, why is it concentrated? I mean, farmers, they must be really fed up in the southwest.
No, I've never seen one physically, but I would really like to. I would love to experience it for sure.
Oh well, I hope you do. I hope you do get to see one. I know I keep asking you this, but do you know if your trip's going? Or?
We're holding out until like the last minute because, you know, right now I don't even know if the quarantine for travel has gone into effect yet. I think they said it was going to go into effect June 8th in the UK. Unless I misunderstood, I think they were going to implement a mandatory 14-day quarantine after arriving in the UK as of June 8th. And then they were going to reevaluate the need for that every 3 weeks. So that could be in July, the beginning of July, they may say, well, this isn't necessary anymore. And they let people travel without having to do that. Then it would be good for us and our trip would be able to go on. But if that's the case, we'll reschedule because there's no way I'm quarantining for 14 days once I get to the UK. No,
that would sort of defeat the whole object of going, wouldn't it? Unless you quarantined yourself on the tour in Glastonbury, maybe.
Yeah,
Chalice Well Gardens.
There. For sure.
Right by the well, put up a little tent there.
Yeah. And there's another place too I wanted to mention to you. Have you ever been to Rollright Stones? Oh.
No, I haven't. I got a friend who's been there, and I remember her sending me pictures and saying the same thing. Have you been here? This
something
is amazing.
Real galactic going on there too. It is definitely. I love that place, but it feels like I'm being watched while I'm there. And also, I met a very interesting character there who I'm telling you, I feel like he was not human. And the things that he said were just, I didn't know if I was talking to somebody from another time. It was very strange whole situation. I won't go into it, but the energy there is interesting. If you can ever visit there. Yeah. And that was the first time Stones actually talked to me and told me things. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. I could talk about England and the Stones and the sacred sites over there all day. I just love it. And interesting points that I'm drawn to as well. They're all very big. I don't know. It's like I'm always guided. Something about the walking. You know, I do a lot of grid work as well. And I'm very interested in seeing the way that things are. I'm guided to walk energy, if that makes sense. So I think you're definitely right about there's so many people that have been going to these sites now that these broken places have now been, I feel like they're being realigned and reactivated or something.
Yeah, and also the Earth grid is like getting better as time goes by, and the two sort of help each other, the work we're doing and the work that is going on in the Earth and all the other beings of light that are involved. It's all sort of
this is a magical topic that we could just totally have a whole show on next time.
I know because we've got some more work to do, haven't we, in Glastonbury soon? We won't start on that. I'd really like you to share your mood.
Yes, I would love to. So for those of you who are just tuning in, this will be available for replay, and you can kind of catch back what Rachel and I have been talking about with the energy right now, what's going on, and how instead of engaging in energy that's going on and being like kind of swept up in it, we can affect change by rising above it, by being still, but also by us doing that, we are helping our brothers and sisters. So one way of doing this is by working with what are called mudras. I'll just briefly explain for anybody who does not know what mudras are. These are ancient, to me, it's like an ancient form of sign language, light language. And it is Tibetan, or I should say Sanskrit, really. So it's like Sanskrit language in hand movements. So, you know, doing things like this, we do them a lot. People don't even realize that you're doing it. I talk sometimes like this. We are actually forming mudras all the time. Our hands have palm chakras, so there's energy flowing. Our fingers are triggers that are connected to the elements. Mudra itself translates to seal or energy seal. So by using these mudras, we can affect change positively within our own physical bodies, our energy bodies, and within our environment. So the other day I was connecting the way that I do on a daily basis, just calling in, you know, my protection and connecting to my higher self. And all of a sudden, very much like when I share in our private group, I receive symbols or signs or messages or something. This time, unlike any other time, I actually received a very clear image of what looked like a mudra. But it was a mudra that I had never seen before. And now I'm not a mudra professional, but I do work with mudras every week on Magickal Me. So this mudra, it looked like this. Okay, so you took your, instead of going like this, you're actually crossing your fingers over your thumb. And then you were forming a triangle with your thumbs and the middle fingers. And then the other fingers kind of just followed suit. In the center of that triangle, I saw an eye open and looking at me. So, of course, I had never seen this mudra before. And I'll help everybody do it again, too, before we actually do it together. I reached out to my really good friend, Angie Walters, who owns Crystal Essence Healing. She is like, she's a mudra professional. And I asked her, you know, have you ever seen these before? Have you ever heard anything like this? And she said, actually, yes, you are actually forming. It's almost like you're talking with your hands, like sign language, because you're doing two mudras in one. It's like the other day during our transmission, I went from this position to, you know, this position to opening. She said, you were actually, it's like mudras in motion. So it's language that's actually being communicated. So she told me there were two separate mudras that she can see inside what I'm doing. The first one is called the Seeta Mudra. This mudra translates to consciousness. Okay, so that's pretty big. And what it actually represents when you're using it, or what it affects, is awakening awareness. It helps us focus inwards and observe our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs more clearly, which is very important with what's going on with the whole mass emotion is sweeping us up and everybody's just reacting. It's about kind of bringing you back and being more conscious of what you're feeling, seeing, receiving, and what you believe. So that's important because it's focusing your energy. The second mudra that's actually involved with this one is called the Mani Ratna Mudra, and it represents oneness, global healing, bringing health, harmony, and integration on all levels of being. So I thought, oh, Spirit, aren't you clever? This was about a week ago. Just before all of this began, I saw this image. So I thought that it is a really great time for us to work together with this. And if I show it to you, you can use it all the time. You can use it whenever you feel you yourself just need that energy, or maybe you want to give a little boost to humanity. So I'll show you again, okay? So you're going to take your pointer finger and your thumbs, and you're actually going to cross your pointer finger behind your thumb. Okay? Yep, perfect. Then you're going to take your two middle fingers, touch them together. Take your thumbs and touch them together so you're forming a triangle. So you could leave your fingers like this, but instead we're going to go this way, and we're kind of going to touch them all together. And we're going to hold them like right in between. I'm going to say we're going to go higher heart chakra, in between throat and heart. Okay? So then what you do is you just close your eyes, everybody. And just take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And release by blowing the breath out. Bringing the awareness into those palms, into that place where your hands are. Remembering consciously what these mudras are. Once again, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And release.
I want to do an
Yeah,
om.
go right
I wanna do
ahead.
that.
Take a nice deep breath in.
Oh.
And I think we can go ahead and do it 3 more times. Take a nice deep breath in.
Oh.
1 more time, deep breath in.
Oh.
And this will be the last time. Deep breath in.
Oh.
And you can state something like, I am one with the all. I am one with the all. I am one with the all. And so it is. I will try to take a picture of this if possible and actually share this so people can remember, since I don't actually have a card to reference or anything to show you exactly how to do it if you forget. But I'll tell you that you can do this on your own every day as often as you feel needed. And I always recommend taking at least 3 deep breaths with that, but you can do intervals of 3. So 3, 6, 9, however you feel. And just sending that conscious out to everyone.
That was good. And if you can't get to do the cards, because you'll need someone else to take the picture, won't you? People just have
You
to
can
watch the show.
Watch the show back on replay because it will be here available. So, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we've nearly done an hour again.
It goes so quickly.
I know. I haven't even had time to tell you about Friday. I'll just tell you quickly. There is this because there's like loads of like different sacred sites around where I live, and someone told me about this place near Lyra, which is quite sort of famous. It's one of those places that people go to, tourists in Denmark, and it used to be like the pagan seat of power, and there's loads of like things around there that are interesting. But a bit further away in some woods, there's this place called Syvhøje, and it means 7 mounds. And it's really strange because when you go there, it's like in these woods, and it's almost like hidden because it has all these raspberry bushes and blackberry brambles and things growing all over them, and then there's these trees at the end. But actually, like when you go there and you actually see it, is there are 7 mounds there in a row, and the 3 at the end are really quite high, and yet you can just walk past. It's almost like they're hiding themselves. I went there a couple of years ago with Thomas and Benji. We were going for a walk, and I took a picnic, and I wanted to see the mounds. Quite often, where can we go today? Oh, I've got some lovely mounds I want to go look at. And when I went there before, it was so happy to see me, and it was like it wanted drumming. And I was like, oh, I'll come back. I promise I'll come back and do some drumming. And then a couple of years has gone by, and I've been really busy. And then suddenly this week, I think it was Wednesday, I thought, oh God, I want to go drumming with my friend. I'm going to write to her. And I wrote to her, and she wrote back almost straight away and said, yes, how about Friday? And I was like, oh, I've got so much. Yes, I'm going. I was like, I'm going. Stop all the things I've got to do. And off I went. And we went there. It suddenly came up. It was like, you have to come and see me. You have to come and see me. And we went there and we drummed and we sang, and because there's no one around. It's like maybe 2 walkers went past all the time we were there. Nobody was around. And it's just like no one ever goes there. And it was really interesting. I had this vision of it like belonging to a clan, like a big family, a big Scandinavian family. And they were like all buried there. And like once a year, they would all like get together and have a huge party. And yeah, there would be rituals and ceremonies and sacred stuff, but they didn't sort of separate that from having a good time and drinking and having fires and being very baudy and like being
I was going to say, I was feeling it in my head when you were saying it, but I was like, okay.
Yes, yeah. But just like this incredible place, just like full of life. And like now,
Yeah.
no one goes there. You know, no one goes there, and it was so happy to see. And it felt like it had been asleep for a long time, like, and it was like waking it up a bit. And it's like it wanted to be woken up, but it was still half like, oh. And we woke up, and then we're like connecting up and down. And but I just think these places, they are like a lot of them, they're like little computer programs just waiting to come online. Except for they need a new program to go in, and that's where we come in. We go to these places, we do these things, and these new like computer programs come in. But it was just, that's what I really wanted to express. It was so joyous and so happy to see us. And it totally saw us as like magic women. Yeah. And it was like total honor and respect, like in the way that we don't get from our society. They had total honor and respect and a bit of fear, maybe, for magic women. And this place, I don't know if they were a clan of like magic women. It felt a bit like maybe they were. Actually, they had really strong magical women, powerful women. And it was just really wonderful to get that mirrored back, because I've so lacked that. And we've all so lacked that. So that I really wanted to share that, you are all powerful, magical women. You're magic women, and like power to you.
I love that.
Honor.
I love that. And, it makes me think of something else. One time Tor Webster said to me, and, most of you know who Tor Webster is from Magical Me. But he's a really good friend of mine, who I go to the UK with. But one time he said to me, about all of those magical places that are there in England. He was like, in America, you have magical places too. And I was like, we do? And he was like, well, yeah. And he was like, the land wants to be loved. And the land wants to know that you are connecting with it and loving it. So that's what you reminded me of. And I feel like everybody who's tuning in right now, think about a place that you could go, that you could just show your love to the land. And we affect change that way, because the earth grid is connected to all of us and our consciousness. So yeah, I think you kind of just triggered something there, Rachel. So yeah, I think send some love, go sit with it, talk to it, bring it some presents that are going to be good for the earth, and drum.
Yeah, but that's it. Most of all, bring your love. And if you can sing, dance and drum and do that kind of thing, that is just the best thing you can do. And it's more fun than you realize. The idea is like, oh, then you go and do it. It's fun. It's really good fun. I can't drink alcohol these days, really.
I try. I try, because it's like old times, but it just doesn't work out well.
No, exactly. I don't have the stamina for it anymore. But then it's all right, because I can just go along and sing and dance and do these sort of things. It's actually
you can get energy
drunk.
There you go. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that with us, because that was wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. No. Well, it's nice for me to have someone to tell these things to.
So thank you, everyone else, for being here. Oh, real quickly, Alexandra Sanchez just says, when we surround ourselves with circles of women, we swirl love all around. Yeah, absolutely. And, and men as well, I want to just bring in that whole unity. I think when we all just come together, the love that just beams from us all is just beautiful. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. And thank you, everybody else, for being here, tuning in with us this week. Absolutely. If you're interested in checking out our private group, send us a message or let us know. All the information and details will be posted for everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take
care. See you next week.
We're back next week. Bye. Bye.